Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and crack this can. It's time to go over some shit that V said the other day. I caught it when I was on my way to work. And I'm not trying to say he's a fucking retard. Obviously, I mean, okay, he's a VTuber, so I guess he's a little retarded. But retards together strong. I'm not here to insult the guy. I actually really respect his work. He's pretty insightful most of the time. I just have some issue with his view of theology and moral calculus. It's a little too naive, really. You know, I kind of described it as being gamer logic, I think. Oh, this is the first monster I've had since my birthday. It's fucking so good. I'm rewarding myself with a monster to push me to actually make content, so let's go ahead and just
and it is
start.
barely a meter, right? Like in Eastern Europe, like I have seen snow that literally in tombs places, like they go.
Well, fuck! I put it at the wrong timestamp.
That is genuinely a problem, but like that.
Should I nudge it forward a little? Nah, it'll be fine. We're just gonna keep going from here.
Westerosi winter. Yeah,
Should be close enough.
There was another transgender school shooter.
Ah, here we go. Yep, this is what I was looking for.
If you missed it.
I was off by a couple seconds. Sorry, everybody.
And I have to wonder, like, why is it always schools? You know, why is it never, like, I don't know, newspaper publications or television stations or anything else? Like, I'm not saying, like, something should be shot, heaven forbid, right? I'm not advocating for that. But I'm just noticing the consistency, like, the obsession. It's like, transgender school shooter. Like, I have heard this phrase so many times by now. And I just have to wonder, like, why? Why is it like the schools? Like, why specifically the schools? Right?
Now, I'm trying to focus on the theology part of this in the video, but that's actually a pretty deep and complex rabbit hole to go down. I mean, at a glance, it's super simple. They want to shoot up schools because they're evil and children are innocent and they're fucking psychos. Yes, I get it. But actually getting into the nitty-gritty about how and why they come to that conclusion and that decision is just actually interesting to, like, solve a puzzle like that, you know? Most people don't want to, because why would you think about that or try to understand bad people doing bad things? But, you know, I'm kind of retarded, so it's what I do. Anyways, let's continue.
Like, again, I'm not saying that it should be something else. But if we're going to go with the premise that something is going to get shot, like, you have to wonder, like, why the consistency? Why the insistence on schools? Someone told me it's because Satan wants to harm the innocent. And it's like, well, hold on a little bit. Like, my theology tells me that doesn't really make sense.
So you're... sorry, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about him. That's the way I should put this. So his theology does make it make sense. It's just that he doesn't actually 100% concern himself with the details. He's taking a surface level view of everything rather than going into deep analysis.
Like, wouldn't Satan want the innocents to grow up so they can stop sinning? Right? Like, we need to assume that Satan has, like, some logistical mindset, right? Like, he's running a kingdom, he's running hell, right? So, like, he needs to have, like, some business sense.
But the thing is, hell isn't like a human business or a human kingdom. It doesn't need to perpetuate itself. Like, it's supernatural to such an extreme degree that we can't even prove that it exists. Like, that's how far removed from the human experience it is. Alright, so at that point, it's not something that needs a functioning economy, that needs a constant influx of people. Nobody ages out and dies in hell. So they don't really need to make more sinners. The goal isn't necessarily just only to make hell bigger. Like, that's not the only way to look at it. And I get why at a glance you hear Satan is a deceiver, he's a corrupter, he wants people to go to hell. It's not really about the result, it's about the process. It's about the corrupting and the deceiving and the manipulating and the doing harm that really matters. So, a lot of people who would agree that Satan wants to harm the innocent, that's why trannies shoot up schools, will also say that abortion is a form of child sacrifice because it's not just a regular child sacrifice. It's an extremely vile one on the grounds that these doctors who perform abortions are supposed to take an oath to never do harm, and then, with the consent of a mother, they kill a child that's so innocent, so fresh, so new that it's one that's never been born before. Which is why it's so supremely evil. And it's not so much that it's a loss on the devil's part because that baby never had a chance to become a sinner and go to hell. It's a victory because evil is being done on earth. It's just bad things happening. Sorry, but let's continue.
He can't be like really that stupid. If Satan is really that stupid, then he's not a danger, right? But like I assume he has some intellect, and so like you would want the innocents to survive, to grow up, so they stop being innocent, so they commit sins, and then you kill them, right? So like again, I don't think like Satan has anything to do with this.
Also, it's funny that he frames it from like a business sense kind of perspective, you know, somebody with some kind of intelligence. There's a guy, a famous game designer, I can't remember his name. He created a tabletop role-playing game called Kill Puppies for Satan. It's a real game, you can buy it costs like $1. And the whole point of the game is you're a satanic cultist and you need to kill puppies because people love puppies, it's great. You get evil powers by doing evil things. But there's this big laundry list of rules. And in hell, Satan doesn't want you to, for instance, kill sinners. He doesn't want them to go to hell because as long as they're doing bad things on earth, they're increasing the amount of misery in the world and increasing the corruption in the world, and by extension, increasing the chances that more people will eventually become corrupt. It's the suffering on earth that matters. And somebody else, completely unrelated to V, also took this, you know, businessman approach to Satan in fiction, and they also understood that it's the suffering on earth that matters. For instance, another stipulation, another rule in Kill Puppies for Satan was you don't want to kill annoying yappy dogs or like mean cats because they're causing suffering on earth, and that's a good thing for the devil. You also don't want to kill innocent people because they'll go to heaven. Like, it's a fun little silly thing that the guy did to troll people. A lot of people got really upset about it. It was just a goof. It's really not something to be upset about, in my opinion, but we'll get back to this again. Sorry for interrupting so much.
Maybe I'm wrong, you know, like some theologists can contradict me on it, but I think I'm being logically consistent here.
Yes, and to be fair, he is being logically consistent. And he does recognize that he could possibly be wrong. It's just he's being logically consistent with, like, a quarter of the puzzle rather than the entire puzzle. He's not looking at all of the moving parts. He's just looking at, you know, the parts that are right there in his face. And someone with more theological knowledge than I do, for instance, would be able to do this a lot better. And then they'd be able to go into detail, and they'd be able to talk about scripture and go into more about the specifics behind the Christian conception of Satan and hell. And I can't really do all that. I'm not a scripture guy. I'm more of a logician. I like to think about concepts and ideas, and not so much about the exact words said by who and when. That shit ain't none of my business.
Slixian yet again has censorship. Slixian, just like use ChatGPT for the love of God.
Automated chat filters are so fucking annoying. I can't stand them.
I will see what he's going to post because he's still writing chat. So I'm in suspense. All right, I got the message. Schools are soft targets with the maximum emotional impact. That is why. So do you think it's like that? Do you think like they're...
And from a non-theological perspective, that is one of the things that I would have considered if this were about just the tranny shooters going after schools, because that is a big part of why they target schools. But it's not the only part.
Literally just standing there and wondering, like, how can I get...
One sec, let me get this empty Zin can.
About the emotions. Italians guy, hello. Satanists get it, always use him as a method or conduit for their bullshit. I don't think like it's that, no. It's just like, again, like theologically, to me, it doesn't make sense. Like, if the purpose is to get souls in hell, right?
Right, okay. Actually, now that I think about it, he's just kind of going back and forth on this point, so I probably don't have to beat this to death and go through the entire stream. And I wasn't trying to insult you with that super chat I sent, V, when I said that you had, like, this game review, because it really is just kind of a surface-level gamer view. You know what, I think we can just finish up with the video here for the most part. Because the important part, I've kind of already gone over. It's that it's a lot deeper than just sending souls to hell. That it's about the moral calculus of causing suffering on Earth and spreading corruption and taking pleasure in the suffering of others. I mean, just the sadism alone, sure, that's experienced by mortals, but of course, you know, something so irredeemably evil as Satan himself would also take pleasure in the suffering of others. I mean, that's kind of one of his big things, you know, as far as I've been told. I could technically be wrong about that too. Like I said, I'm not an expert theologist, but it just makes sense, you know? When you go beyond looking at it as merely transactional, that it's just about getting souls in heaven, or, sorry. When you look at it beyond just getting souls in hell, because at the end of the day, that's never really what it was. Like, Satan wasn't a force created specifically to make hell and then to make hell bigger. He's supposed to be punished, and he's eternally suffering, and he's the Lord of Lies, but he doesn't really have much power outside of that. He deceives and he manipulates because it's something he can do, but he can't really do much else than that. He's constantly rebelling against God in order to maximize suffering, especially unto humans, because humans were made in God's image, and they're basically his favorite creation. The one creation that he gave freedom to. Nothing else has the intelligence required to truly understand and appreciate freedom as a concept, and to be free to choose. Everything else is merely animated flesh that acts on instinct. It's stimulus and response. And granted, the majority of humans are like that too. Not everyone is sentient. I know it's going to upset some people to hear that. The majority of people are basically just dolphins. It's kind of disgusting when you start to view people like that, but it's kind of true, and it makes life a lot easier when you just accept that most people aren't rational actors and can't think past their own nose. And goddamn, that's some good Monster. I don't want to drag this out too long, but I do hope you guys like the aesthetic of this game I'm running in the background, despite the fact that my dumbass was shooting at a teammate over here. I don't know why I was doing that. I probably thought it was funny or something. But this is actually East of Eden. You guys should definitely check it out. I'm actually going to drop a link to the itch.io and to the Twitter page for the game dev. It's made by one dude in Australia. Not a lot of money. It's fucking baller as hell. And just got an update. Dude's telling us, well, not just, it was a couple days ago, but very recently, dude's telling us the game will be ready for Steam in 6 months. Doesn't mean on Steam in 6 months, but he's aiming for 6 months to be ready on Steam. Or ready for Steam. So I'm not going to hold the guy to anything. I'm not going to make any promises for the guy. But he has been consistently putting effort into this fun little game you see here. And I'm just playing against bots, obviously. It does have semi-functioning multiplayer, and I say semi insofar as most people aren't willing to set up, you know, software like Tungle or Hamachi to play, like, LAN over a WAN program, you know? Most people don't want to do that. But you can do that with your friends, and I strongly recommend that you do. So I'm going to go ahead and also put some links in for V, because he's awesome. He's a cool guy. Check him out if you've never heard of him. And I hope everyone, you know, has a good day or night, or whenever you watch this. I hope it's good for you, because goddamn is this monster good for me. The doctor said to stop drinking them if they're causing inflammation. He said I don't have diabetes, or that my kidneys are fine, but I mean they don't hurt anymore, so I'm gonna keep drinking this. But only when I make videos, just to incentivize me to actually stick to making videos. I've been pretty busy because I'm preparing to move and stuff. But you guys have a good one.